Good morning. More work on the 1932 chassis. As you can see here, I've already got the frame blown back apart, the front and rear suspension out from under it, getting ready to go over it with some flap disc, which I don't know if you know what a flap disc is, but it's this type of thing right here. It's used for cleaning metal, cleaning rust off metal. Anytime that you have a bare metal frame such as this and you leave it sit for any period of time, you start getting some flashing of rust on it. That will clean it off. I'm about to run to English Color here in McKinney and pick up some epoxy primer to shoot on this once it's done. What I have done already, let me show you what we've got here. Using a Ford engine causes a few problems. This right here is the Vega steering box that I'm using and the mount for it. Using the Ford motor mounts here with this brace here, you can see, was interfering with my U-joint just ever so slightly. So I had to come in here and make some clearance. Of course, I'll clean that up a little bit later, but now it is spinning freely. No problems at all, and that's taken care of. So all I've got to do now is use my flat disc to clean off this flashing, which is not a big deal at all. Some other areas, then I'm going to get some acetone, clean up the frame completely, and then spray some epoxy primer on it to get it ready. Once the epoxy is primed, I'm going to flip the frame back over. I'm also going to clean off the rear end housing and epoxy it as well, put it back under the car, get it set up, and start mocking up the engine and transmission. So that's part of what I'm going to start today. Not going to finish all of it, of course, today. It's a lot to do, but at least I've got a good start on it. I'm probably going to have to quit about halfway through the day today because it's supposed to be well over 100 degrees here in North Texas. So obviously in a shop without air conditioning, that presents a little bit of a problem, but we'll get to it. Stay tuned with me. We'll get to work. Really difficult spraying epoxy on a 100-degree day because of all the equipment you have to wear, the respirators, the gloves, and everything like that, because it is really hot and humid here today. The good news is we got that done. Let me show you what we got. The primary purpose of this particular coat of primer was to get it out of rust. This is an epoxy high build, and the coverage actually turned out really nice. I'm pretty pleased with how it laid down. It's actually got some protection on it now, so I think we're good to go to start doing mock-up. Mount the engine and transmission and the steering. Rear end, I've still got to do the rear end and differential, clean that up and get that in epoxy, but I think I will do that another day because that requires me to blow it all apart, get it cleaned up, and start from there. So I may do that in another day, because frankly, after doing this, doing all this cleanup work, covering it with acetone, then spraying the primer, it's a pretty hot day. So I think I'm going to leave it alone, let this dry and cure out, and then on to the next step. I'm happy with the way everything is looking so far though, and I think it's going to make me a nice chassis. Of course, up next, as stated, I'm going to blow the rear end apart, get it completely cleaned up, primer, and I may go ahead and paint that, and then put it back together for good, seal it up. I've got all the seals and all the stuff necessary to do that, so there's really no reason for me not to. But upon that point, what I'll start doing is start reassembling the chassis, this time putting the engine and transmission in it, getting the pinion angles set, and doing all of that stuff. So be sure and stay tuned, more updates to come.